to be talking about is the formation of precipitation. Precipitation is formed in warm clouds when saturated air rises, forcing condensation. These droplets grow as they move up to the top of the cloud. As they move around, they collide with other droplets growing in both shape and weight. As the droplets get heavier, they move closer to the bottom of the cloud, eventually dividing into smaller droplets again as they fall to the ground. There are many different types of precipitation, such as rain, snow, sleet, or hail. The first one I am going to talk about is rain. Raindrops are drops of water that fall from clouds and have a diameter of at least 0.5 meters. Snow is the next type of precipitation, in which the formation of ice crystals, from which the size, shape, and concentration of the snowflake depends on the extent of the temperature that it was formed at. Sleet are small or clear translucent particles that occur when melted snow falls as water and freezes as it passes through a layer of freezing temperature before hitting the ground. The last type of precipitation I'm going to talk about is hail. Hail is the hard, rounded pellets or irregular lumps of ice that fall. There are 4 different kinds of fronts. The first kind of front is a cold front. Cold fronts can be defined as the transition zone where a cold air mass is replacing a warmer air mass, and they usually bring abrupt weather changes. The next kind is a warm front, where the warm air mass at the surface rises above the cold air mass, making clouds and storms that may lead to rainy weather. Stationary fronts are essentially when the cold or warm front stops moving. This happens when 2 masses of air are pushed against each other, but neither is powerful enough to move the other. The last kind of front is an occultated front. In occultated fronts, the cold air mass from the cold front meets the cold air that was ahead of the warm front, and the warm air rises as these air masses come together. The last topic I wanted to talk about is airlifting. Airlifting plays an essential role in our life as it leads to the formation of clouds, allowing precipitation to be possible. There are a multitude of types of airlifting, but I will talk about 2. The first is orographic lifting, which is when elevated terrain such as mountains act as barriers to the airflow, forcing the air to rise above the mountain barrier. The second kind of airlifting I will be talking about today is frontal wedging. Frontal wedging is when masses of warm air and cold air collide, producing a front. The cooler, denser air acts as a barrier over which the warmer, less dense air has to rise above, creating the frontal wedging.